Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, tier lists, reviews, re-reviews, thought streams, commentaries, whatever, feel free to send it. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And I will try to get to it as soon as I possibly can. I apologize for the wait. Sorry to Guillermo for the wait on the request. One quick thing, if you hear a beep, it is not a bomb. This hopper's not here to kill me. If I don't talk more than 55 miles per hour, is because I'm baking something, and that's just the oven telling me it got to the heat it's supposed to. So if everybody time we get done with this review, then I'll go eat and get some more stuff done. But Werewolves from 2024 is the topic at hand. And this was sadly disappointing. To be blunt and honest right off the bat, disappointing film. Because you got Frank Grillo, who's in the Purge Anarchy. Ironic, because the Purge kind of has a deal with this I'll get to. But I liked him as an actor. Liked him in Boss Level. Even beyond Skyline and other films. Frank Grillo, I think he's a good actor. He's a good lead to have in your movie. Lou Diamond Phillips, LDP, for live. For live. I always enjoyed him. The First Power, Young Guns, La Bamba, even Bats. I like the film Bats. See, that's a more fun B movie to me than this one. For the most part, the werewolves are done practically. I know a lot of people kind of make fun of the look of the werewolves or the design, or they say it's stiff. I guess I'm being more nice about it. I guess I'm being more, what's the word I'm looking for, apologetic. I'm able to look over its faults because the fact that they're using practical effects a lot of the times, I just think is very cool in this day and age where everything's done digitally. Again, maybe I'm giving that an easy pass, but so be it. I like that some of the wolves have different designs. Like one has like a nose ring, among other stuff. The premise seems like it could be fun as a dumb, sure, but a B movie. That apparently a year before, apparently billions of people turned to a werewolf because of the supermoon for one night. So now is becoming that year again. And the supermoon, which, hell, I didn't even know what a supermoon is, but that's when the moon is closest to the earth. I guess the way they put it, the beams of the moon will turn into a werewolf. And now that night is approaching. Frank Grillo, he's a scientist. He was also a former military. He fixes up his brother who died the year before. He was a first responder. He's helping his brother's wife and kid check the perimeter, board up the windows, electric fence. There's a neighbor who's kind of a, hoorah, I'm going to shoot everything because I'm America, fuck yeah. Just very one-note, stereotypical guy. And so while he sets his brother's family up for safety, he goes to where the other scientists are, including Lou Diamond Phillips, who says we're testing this formula, this moon screen. Instead of sunscreen, it's moon screen. I'm like, okay. The test to see if it works. So it does work, only for an hour, and then the werewolves go crazy and fuck up the lab. And then it's Frank Grillo and this lady on a journey to get back to Frank Grillo, his brother's family. So he's trying to be like the Purge, but with werewolves. I'm like, okay, the Purge, but with werewolves. Could be fun. Could be entertaining. Here's the problem, though. You got Dick Wad, Stephen C. Miller. Maybe the C stands for Chud or Chode or chicken shit. I don't know. He's a shitty director. That's what should be S for shitty. Stephen Shitty Miller. I'm sorry. You know what? Maybe he's a nice guy. I'll say I'm sorry about that. He may be a nice guy. If you somehow watch this, I apologize for those remarks. I don't apologize for saying that I do think you're a shitty director, though. You did Escape Plan 2, one of Sylvester Stallone's worst movies. You did Automaton Transfusion. To me, one of the worst zombie films I've ever seen. It would be my top 10 worst zombie films. Silent Night was there. That's the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. It was there, but nothing I would rewatch. I do not think you're a good director. I think you took a premise and you shit the bed with it. There's barely any action. The very few set pieces don't go far enough, or they're too far in between. There is a lot of dumb stuff in this movie, and granted, I kind of figured this would be a dumb B movie, and there's a lot of films I love you could consider dumb B movies, but this was even pushing it. For example, you're telling me that 1 billion people turned to werewolves. 1 billion people turned to werewolves and people didn't know? I would think half the fucking population would be dead by that because of that. It should be like Mad Max Road Warrior style, it would seem. If 1 billion people turned to werewolves in one damn night, it just... This should have been the biggest death toll in a while. So people should be scared, people should be frightened, people should be terrified, and they should be build giant mansions of fortresses of solitude in preparation for this. And they knew the supermoon was coming. It's not like they knew a day before. They probably knew a long ass time. So prepare. But there were people scrambling, preparing last minute. Granted, that is true, because there are people like a hurricane or something's coming, and you know they. But even that, I think you probably have a bit more time to prepare for this compared to that. And why are people? Yes, there are some, but it seems like everybody's preparing last minute. Why is everybody preparing last minute for this? Everybody. I get that you're scientists. We can't test this until there's a supermoon. So the only time we can test this is now. But why is everybody else like taking last minute to board everything up and shit? Why are you giving this woman? You're a military guy who is a scientist. Frank Grillo, why are you giving this chick one shotgun with a couple shotgun shells? You should have like steal Charles Bronson's inventory. Steal Rambo's armory. Have a shitload of guns, knives, sharp sticks. Not just one shotgun with a couple shells. Why is it that when the night happens, there's a fucking scene of a girl, like a teenager, making fucking popcorn, tearing a popcorn bowl? I'm like, if you said tonight, it's night right now, there's going to be a shitload of werewolves, I'm not going to sit here doing a goddamn movie review or watching TV or playing video games. I'm going to be shitting my pants, wetting my pants, changing those pants, make another pants, shit and wet those pants, then change a third time, and then have every gun I could find, every machete, every chainsaw, every sharp stick. I'm going to be ready like Freddy until the day comes, and then I can breathe and play video games for a whole fucking week. Why are you sitting here? You have your daughter, like Frank Grillo's brother's wife. I forget her name, so I'll call her Wifey. Just I forgot her damn name. Wifey has her daughter listening to headphones. I'm like, no, she should probably hear what the hell's going on. And yet some random teen, Mom, where are you, Mom? And why'd you bake a fucking bowl of popcorn? Oh, where's my mom at? I don't know. It's the night of the werewolves. What do you think happened? What do you think's going on? Again, one night, 1 billion people turn to werewolves. It's like no one fucking knows. Hey, Mom, where are you, Mom? Uh-oh. Gee, I don't know. It's the night of the werewolves. Maybe she turned to a werewolf, or the werewolf got her. Maybe you should be prepared. Maybe you should have a gun in your panties. Maybe you should have a gun out your snatch. Just saying. So there's so many things I'm sitting there going. Also, why don't you make a dome? If it's the supermoon with the beams, which the way they put it, that's the reason. See, there it is. Bomb's gonna explode. I'm still alive. Dennis Hopper didn't get me. Make a dome. Make a giant fucking dome and say you're going in here by force. Hell, even if you just wear a face mask, you could go out and be fine. I mean, I find it funny, like, governments told us to wear a mask, you know, when the pandemic hit. I think they'd be telling you, you wear a fucking face mask or you're arrested. That's what would happen. That's the truth of what would happen. You wear a fucking face mask this night or you're arrested. Which would make sense because you don't turn into a bloodthirsty werewolf and kill people. Or you detain, either you wear a face mask, like the whole mask, for one night, or you're arrested and you're going somewhere where no one can see you. How about this? How about you build a fucking dome? Or make people go into a fucking mall and stay away from the windows. Everyone go to the mall and you put all these tarps on, among other shit, or you fortify it. Put everybody into a fucking football stadium and put some shit over the dome. Like, I think there's other ways we could help with this problem. I'm just saying. Of course, you don't account for a few assholes that want to be a werewolf because they're bored or they're just evil or a dickhead. But either way, like, I don't know why these other options are not happening. Then who makes popcorn on werewolf night? Why is it that, okay, we're going to do this test? Why are the people in cages, the cages, you could do this and they rock back and forth like a damn seesaw. The cages are so wide, I could put my whole body. It's like that scene in Hot Shots 2 with Richard Crenna. He's trying to get the keys, and then he literally goes all outside to get the keys and come back. That's where these cages are. I mean, these cages suck. These are some of the more dog shit cages you've had in a movie. No wonder they get loose, because you have piss poor planning. Why don't you have more than one guy with a gun? How about have a whole military with guns ready that could kill werewolves just in case? Oh, we don't want to kill them. Well, tough titty. You want to die? Tough shit. I guess that's how it happens. Or have it, put the cages, and then have another thing that's impenetrable wall. It's not like you've had a whole year to make this setup. I don't know if they knew it would be a year from now this would happen. Like, again, for those who know about weather patterns, how far is it that you know when a supermoon happens? Is it, like, are you able to know a year from now? Or is it a week or a month from now? If anyone knows stuff about that, please let me know. But they would have had time to plan, it seems like. But they didn't, because they're stupid. Lou Diamond Phillips, he barely does anything. He says a couple words. He's in the suit. When everything goes haywire, he gets hit. So the sunbeam hits him. He turns to a werewolf. Now, I thought we were going to see a lot more of him as a werewolf. No. I don't even know if he gets killed as a werewolf or not. I don't even know. Also, the girl that's with Frank Grillo, she's like, no, I can't shoot that guy because he's this guy that she knows. It's an Asian guy that she knows that turned. I thought that was going to be a plot point. No, that's just dropped. Now, whether that guy lived or died or what, I don't know. It's like they set that subplot off. They set that subplot up. The subplot of the girl knowing the Asian guy turns to a werewolf. Please don't shoot him. No, no, no. But then I'm like, well, do we ever see that guy again? Was he one of the ones that got killed? And the action scenes are not that well directed because it's the guy who did Escape Plan 2. And for the purge of werewolf films, you would think there'd be like big scenes of werewolves just going to town. There's not. When you set up that idea, it's like the first Purge film. Which, I mean, I said was kind of a dumb idea, but you set this idea that everybody, this whole city, everything's going haywire. You said just one house because of budget. Here, it goes back to the wifey and her daughter, kind of just in their house, and then Frank Grillo and the girl kind of on a street or in like a mall or something, or in a tunnel, or they're on a street. Okay, there's 3 werewolves, so they hide. There's not like a big wham bam action movie driven narrative. And that's why I think a lot of people will find disappointment with this. Wifey, she does this annoying thing where she keeps repeating. I guess her husband told her certain things. She keeps repeating stuff. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I don't give a fuck what you do. You do what you need to do. I'm going to do this. Go do this. Fine, you do it then. I don't give a fuck. Just shut up. The neighbor, he thinks he's Rambo shooting, but then the wolf just throws something through his window and he flies back. His face thing went off, so he turns into a werewolf. For some reason, all the werewolves in that block center on wifey and her daughter. I don't know why they all center on her. Is there nobody else around? Is everybody else dead? No, they all center on her. They're pissed at her for something, I don't know. But they all center on her for some reason. And I'm just going to tell her story. She finally gets her shotgun after her defenses are down, and we'll see her going around and shoot. And she only has like 12 shells or so. But we never see her hit any werewolf. I swear. The only werewolf we see her hit that I remember is there's a werewolf, she gets an axe and hits it in the head. That's the only werewolf I remember her killing. Although it seems like she supposedly killed much more, but I don't remember seeing that. Especially with the shotgun she has. Meanwhile, Frank Grillo and the lady, after the lab, there's 3 werewolves. They hide under a car. They get to a place where there's a little kid. They run off. There's a group of people there. They say, fine, we'll take you to a tunnel entrance. We never see those people again. So I thought this whole theme with these folks and why they're here, there's going to be something to that? No. As soon as they're brought up, they're completely forgotten. Here's the tunnel. Get the fuck out. They try to open up a door. There's a werewolf behind them. Grillo impales one. It's like the first werewolf he kills. One of the only ones he kills. And this is when I'm realizing, wait, you could just go outside and use a tarp? Because they're using the thing, the sunscreen, moon screen that lasts for an hour. And then they have to reapply. But they just use a tarp. So you just use a tarp. As long as you don't look at the moon and you use a tarp, you're fine. I'm like, so it seems like, this is a problem we could have solved a bit easier. The whole werewolf, everybody turning into werewolf thing. They get to a store. They see a girl that looks like a fucking Klingon. I know my friend Michael Cummings saw it. I don't know if he knows. That girl looked like a Klingon. I think he wasn't a fan of this either. I don't blame him. The one scene that offers a bit of fun is there's a group of, I don't know, potbelly vigilantes where one of them has like a minigun and they can't hit shit with the werewolves. They get killed. And for a movie where it's the purge with werewolves, do you think there'd be a lot more gore? There's not a lot of gore. There's one bit where they take like a face off. Okay, that wasn't a bad effect. But it didn't seem like there was a whole lot. Instead, these guys just waste a lot of fucking ammo. And that's the one where I see there's like a werewolf with a nose ring. So finally, she, as his distraction, Grillo gets on with the minigun, shoots one werewolf. Fun little scene. When you see bullet hits. But then he's shooting the other werewolves, and I think he gets some of them. But I don't think this guy knows how to handle action. Also, why does this guy use so many fucking lens flares? He thinks he's J.J. Abrams? Or that fucking Total Recall remake, Lens Flare, the movies I call it, Total Lens Flare. If you watch this film, there's a lot of lens flares, which gets annoying. Take a drink each time you see a lens flare. And then after that, they get into the car, but the girl gets taken. Grillo, he drives, he runs over a few werewolves. He gets to where he needs to go. I think it's the neighbor werewolf that's the only one left. So Frank Grillo has the smart idea, to turn into a werewolf himself, which I'm sitting there going, okay, if you turn into a werewolf, what's to stop you from joining him and killing the family? Because if as a werewolf, you don't have a mind of your own. So, and the werewolves are working together throughout the rest of the film. Why wouldn't the werewolves see one werewolf and work together to kill the family? Because your mind is not there. But no, because the script calls for it, the werewolf fights the werewolf. Even that's shitty because it's only 50 seconds long. Pretty much push. I think Grillo's werewolf does like a arm thing that he steams the doll to break it. But you don't really get much up close of a break. You just hear it. Again, the whole thing was slow, collide, push against each other, push against the wall. This guy's on the ground, get up, thing with the arm. And then Grillo's werewolf tears the other werewolf's head off. I'm sitting there going, he's ready to kill this family now. You stupidly turned yourself into a werewolf. By this, the point was that was part of the plan. Because there's a watch timer that happens, and she shoots the window, and the sun hits, and Frank Grillo goes back to being a werewolf. I mean, to a person. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I wanted to check my food so I don't burn the place down, but it says 20 minutes, but I leave that in longer. It needed crispier. Because I wish this movie was Crisco. Rub the Crisco and shove it up my ass. Then I would hit the prostate and feel better. Because I feel better than watching this movie. But I would also say I wish this movie was more crisp, fast, fun, exciting, and not disappointing. That's what I was trying to get at. But yeah, he turns himself into a werewolf where he could have killed his brother's family just like that, but because the script says so, he turns on the other werewolf and they have like a shitty fight. And that's what I mean by this. I don't know how much I blame the writer, because I don't know if any of this was rewritten, if any of this was changed because of budget restrictions. I don't know. And sometimes on streams people ask me, but it's hard to think off the top of my head when presented a question like, what's a film that had potential but was disappointing? It's hard to think of stuff at that moment, but this would be one of those films that I think, with the premise, as dumb as it may sound to people, with Frank Grillo, you're using practical werewolves for the most part. I don't think any of the werewolves was CG that I noticed. When I say it, oh, a werewolf fighting a werewolf, and one tears the werewolf's head off. Oh, Frank Grillo gets a minigun and shoots a werewolf with it. This stuff, as a guy who's a fan of action and horror movies, seems like a fun time. Not asking for Oscar, not asking for Schindler's List, asking for a dumb, fun B movie. But Frank Grillo, while he's a good actor, he doesn't have a lot to work with. He doesn't have a lot to really put his teeth into, no pun intended. He's barely a character. Other than a few bits of dialogue he says to the girl before he leaves, the little girl before he leaves, there's really nothing to him other than, hey, let's go, stay, let's do this. It's really not much for him to deal with. Like, they really didn't give him much to work with as a character in this script. Lou Diamond Phillips, glorified cameo. I mean, he's in a couple scenes, but he gets turned way too soon. And that's a shame, because I like Lou Diamond Phillips. The action for a film that's The Purge with werewolves, it does not have as much action as you think it would. It seems like a big idea, but it feels a lot smaller than it should, probably because of budget. So they probably spent all the budget on the practical werewolves, which I appreciate, but maybe it seems like they couldn't afford much of anything else. You don't need constant lens flares shown on the screen. The mother with her daughter, okay, she got a shotgun, let her unleash that shotgun on some werewolves, blow a head off, blow a piece of snout off, blow a side of the werewolf's face off, something. A werewolf comes from the ceiling, she shoots up, blows the head up. Like, let's put some of that into it if you're going to have that bit of business. Let us know a little bit more of the world. What was the world like after 1 billion turned to werewolves? This seems like a girl should not be wandering around with a bowl of fucking popcorn wondering where her mom's at in the night of the werewolves after she was obviously alive a year ago where 1 billion werewolves was around. I mean, I'm sure there was a shitload of news coverage after that. Why is people not more scared? Why are you leaving wifey only one shotgun with a couple shells? And not stealing John Matrix's, armory. If all it takes is to wear a face mask and whatever and clothes, it seems like it should be a lot easier to hide the fact of turning to a werewolf. Like, have domes, have other shit built. Let's explain this world a bit. That could be interesting, a world that survived 1 billion, werewolves. You do nothing with that premise. The premise could have just been a couple werewolves escape from a lab. 12 werewolves escape from the lab and they're going around the city. Might as well just been that. Because you only see like 3 werewolves here, 2 or 3 over here. There's a group of 5 here outside the house, but you don't really see or kill much of them except the one with the axe, using an axe. What's funny is, after this, I saw a film called VHS Beyond. The first fucking segment, called Stork, there was more action, excitement, makeup effects, and insanity in that one segment, which I really enjoyed. That'll be the next review. Than is in this entire fucking movie. And that was a short in an anthology. That says a lot to me. Stephen C. Miller, again, you may be a nice guy. Maybe you are, but I think you suck ass as a director. You may say I suck ass as a reviewer, you be right, and then maybe I be right too about you. I mean, stop directing movies, dude. Please. I mean, let's look at your filmography, just out of curiosity, dude. Because you cannot direct for shit, in my opinion. You took a fun idea and you made it a shitty film. Automaton Transfusion, Stream of the Banshee, The Aggression Scale. Oh yeah, that film. Under the Bed. Maybe that film. Maybe that was your best film. Oh yeah, you did a couple Bruce Willis ones. Extraction, Submerged. Extraction, Marauders, Arsenal. Arsenal had Nick Cage and John Cusack. So a bunch of these direct-to-video First Kill that had Bruce Willis. So these Bruce Willis or Nick Cage direct-to-video films that no one gave a fuck about. State Plan 2, one of Stallone's worst movies. And what did this have on IMDb? Just out of curiosity. So to be factual on it, 4.4. So it wasn't 3, it was a 4.4. But it should not have a 4.4. Should be a lot higher than that. Disappointing. Could have been a fun idea. Could have been some fun B-movie mayhem. If this was back to the day and someone like Trader Baxley, who did I Come in Peace, did it, I think you could have really made something out of it. That would have been fun. Work with Carl Weathers and Action Jackson. That would be a follow-up to, he did Action Jackson, I Come in Peace, and Stone Cold. Let the Stone Cold do this movie. That could have been cool. Because he knows how to use action with a small budget. He's like, let's blow some shit up. Let's have some fun. Disappointing. Should have been a lot better. Again, and that ending was just kind of the creme de la creme of shit. I'm going to turn myself into a werewolf. I hope I don't kill the family right fucking behind me. That's the thing. When you're a werewolf, you don't have a mind of your own. Yeah, she tried to oh, please remember who you are. The werewolf's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you. It's like, yeah, because he doesn't have a mind of his own. So why did he go after the other werewolf? When it seemed like werewolves were not really going after each other before that. It's like, the script just does what the fuck it wants. Just shitty script. So, the script needed improvement. Needed a change in director. Gave Frank Grillo more of a character. Gave Lou Diamond Phillips more to do. Really build up the world. But how it went from last year to this year. Get some fun set pieces in there. The closest was the minigun bit. Even that was just a little bit, not enough to save the film. Let's start with the goddamn lens flares. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.